We paid off $16,000 of debt in just 4 months without a high income, a side hustle, or extreme budgeting. No gimmicks, no unrealistic sacrifices, just 15, some are simple, real life changes that helped us cut expenses, save more, and finally get ahead. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck and want real ways to save money and pay off debt faster, this video is for you. Today, I'll walk you through the exact 15 steps we use to reduce our grocery bill, avoid impulse buys, and take control of our finances. These are easy changes anyone can make, and they add up fast. Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a wife and mom of 2 kiddos, and we are working to pay off about $300,000 of debt. And I'm sharing some real life debt payoff and money saving strategies for families like ours. We're working hard to pay off debt, cut unnecessary expenses, and build financial stability without feeling deprived. If this sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe for more tips like this. So stick around to the end because I'm sharing our biggest money saving hacks, plus the one strategy that made the biggest difference in our debt-free journey. So number 1, cutting down electricity use. Electricity where I live is expensive, and one of the easiest ways we saved money was by reducing our electricity use. We unplugged anything that wouldn't be used that day and turned off lights whenever we leave a room. If the sun is up, the lights stay off, no exceptions. We also introduced no power days, where we pretended like there was a power outage. This means no TV, no lights, no tablets, nothing that plugs in, nothing that charges, no unnecessary appliances. Only grown-ups have magic powers that allow us to cook dinner using the stove or the oven. And yes, their heat stayed on. We didn't turn off the heat or anything like that. But it really cut down on electricity. At night, we use the solar-powered lights, which not only saves money, but also prepares kids for real power outages. So that way they weren't afraid when it does happen. We've been doing this for years. We do it more in the summer. We'll even pick a whole week where we kind of pretend that power is out and we pretend that we are kind of camping inside the house. It makes it really fun. If you are in a place where you get a lot of storms, this is a fun, easy way for kids to kind of get used to that, and it's not so scary if it does happen in a storm. Now that spring is coming, I'll be able to cut costs even more by hanging our laundry outside to dry on the clothesline instead of using the dryer. All right, so meal planning and using what we have. Before grocery shopping, I meal plan around what I already have in the fridge, in the pantry, in the freezer, instead of automatically making a new grocery list or checking the flyers to see what's on sale. If we're missing an ingredient, I try to substitute it instead of running to the store. The goal is to use what we have first. One big change that surprised me was changing what we eat at breakfast. We've started eating more protein at breakfast time. This is keeping everyone fuller for longer, which means we buy fewer snacks. My son eats scrambled eggs with an English muffin and peanut butter, or he eats his special spinach, egg, banana, oatmeal pancakes. My daughter prefers whole milk Greek yogurt with granola and berries, and this small change has cut down our grocery bill by reducing the snacks that they eat throughout the day. Free entertainment for kids. If you have kids, you have to keep them entertained because bored kids they're a lot, man. They can be a lot. So keeping kids entertained during winter can get expensive fast. Indoor play areas are really fun, but they are really, really expensive. And our winter was really cold. We didn't get a lot of snow. And when we got all the snow, our family was sick with colds and flus, and so we didn't really get to play out in the snow that much. So what we did is we first went to our local library. If you haven't checked out your library in a while, you're probably missing out on a lot of free activities. Many libraries offer story hours for younger kids, babies, all the way up to kindergarten, and some even older than kindergarten, where they will read books to you, do crafts, sing songs, kids get to socialize. Some libraries even have after-school programs for older kids. You can have book clubs, they have dance parties, a whole bunch of different things. Some libraries even have special homeschool meetups that include lessons and activities. So even if we don't go for an event, we can take full advantage of what our library offers. My kids can spend hours looking at books, playing with puzzles, drawing, coloring, exploring the children's area. They have stuffed animals. They even have toys now at some libraries. We can borrow movies, audiobooks, and games, and so we always have something new to do at home, all for free. The second free activity we take advantage of is indoor mall walking. If you have an indoor mall near you, this is a great way to get some movement in for free in winter or rainy, cool days. It's been a total game changer for us this past winter. Most malls open 1 to 2 hours before the stores do, allowing people to come in and walk around. We do about 2 laps, which is about 1.25 miles, and we stop at the kids' play area each time we pass for a couple minutes for them to play around. There's not a lot of people there. There's usually a few elderly people walking around or maybe a few younger people walking around, but that's pretty much it. So that's really quiet, not a lot of people. And the best part, the stores aren't open, so you can't buy anything. There's zero pressure. We get the kids moving, we burn off energy, we get to window shop, they get to pick out things that they would like, but we can't get because, oh no, kids, the store is closed, I'm so sorry, and we get out of the house, all without spending anything. So it's a great, quiet, stress-free, free thing to do in the winter or on kind of rainy days. All right, the next one is packing food and drinks for every trip, no matter how short. It never fails. Every time we leave the house, someone is suddenly starving. Even if we just finished a full meal at home, the moment we pull out of the driveway, one of my kids is instantly hungry, thirsty, cranky, something. So let's be honest, when kids get hungry, it's way too easy to swing through a drive-through or grab a snack at the store you're in just to keep the peace. So to stop this from happening, I started packing food and drinks. And if moms get tired and cranky, it's really easy for us to go to a drive-through and grab a coffee, right? So I now include a coffee drink or a tea every single time we leave the house. So food, drinks for everybody, including mom, coffee and tea for mom every time we leave the house, even if it's a quick trip. This has saved us hundreds over time. No more last-minute fast food stops, no more expensive store-bought snacks, no more expensive coffee just because I'm tired. It's such a simple habit, but it makes a huge difference in cutting out unnecessary spending. And I don't drink fancy coffees, guys. I drink black coffee, and black coffee at a coffee shop, a drive-through coffee shop, is still ridiculously expensive. So this does save a lot of money. Kids' clothes. Kids grow fast. They grow really fast, and you need to keep buying them clothes several times a year. Where I live, thrift stores are very expensive for some reason. It's actually cheaper for me to buy clothes on sale at Walmart and Target than it is for me to buy used clothes at a thrift store. But I don't like shopping on sale. I try to shop the end of season clearance. These sales I know Walmart does it right after Christmas, and then they do it again in spring, and then at the end of summer, they'll do it. Same with Target. So I shop these end of season clearance sales, and I buy clothes in future sizes. That way I'm always prepared when my kids outgrow something. I stick to brands that I already know fit well, and I try to limit buying character-themed clothes unless I'm sure my kids will still love that character next year. Character clothes I usually buy only in 1, maybe 2 sizes up if it's a strong character that they love. because kids change their minds quickly, and I don't want to waste money on something that they're going to refuse to wear next year. Some of the best deals I found at Walmart, especially, I've gotten the kids winter coats for $10 to $14, sneakers and summer shoes for $2 to $5, winter boots for $10, pants and shirts for as low as $1.75. And these are just regular clothes. There was nothing weird about them. They were just standard, like, I don't know, sweatpants, black sweatpants or gray sweatpants or jeans. I got my daughter pink winter boots, pink sneakers, really nice pink, white, black winter coats. These are normal clothes for not a lot of money. I have 2 storage bins right now full of clothes for future sizes. So when my kids outgrow something, I can just pull out the next size instead of having to rush to the store and buy full price. So it's not a full wardrobe, but it's enough to get you through like a few days worth of clothes so you can try to get some more things on sale. So this winter, it did save us a lot of money. I didn't have to buy anything. I just bought a few pieces for my kids, again, in the characters that they love, so they could have a couple character shirts, but the rest has been from the bin. My daughter also wears my son's hand-me-downs, boys' pants, neutral colored shirts, character shirts that they both love, jackets work for either kid. And she chooses which pieces from his old wardrobe that she wants to keep. So she gets to make all the decisions, but it keeps our clothing budget super low. And we only buy a few extra pieces to fill in the gaps. All right, so that was step 5. Step 6 is using grocery pickup to avoid impulse buys and save money at multiple stores. One of the best ways I've reduced grocery spending is by using pickup orders whenever possible. Walmart and Target offer both free grocery store pickup. Aldi does do free grocery store pickup, but they charge a small markup per item, but it's still worth doing it to help me stick to my budget. Before I started using pickup orders, grocery trips were always a struggle. I would either forget important items and have to make extra trips, grab things that weren't on my list because they looked good at that moment and you think, oh, I'll make that later, or end up spending more than planned because of impulse buys, especially with kids in tow. Now I place my Walmart pickup orders for most of our groceries because they have the biggest selection at the best prices for a pickup order. Since I have to schedule a pickup time, it forces me to plan ahead, which means I'm not mindlessly throwing things into a cart like I would at a store. After I check out at Walmart, I see what's missing. So Walmart will send you a little message saying, your cart is ready, but we did not have these items. At that point, I will either place an Aldi pickup order or a Target pickup order. Usually by the time I've picked up my Walmart order, my Target order is now ready for those missing items. So I can get everything kind of done in one trip, and I don't waste time going to multiple stores. So this cuts down on impulse buys since I'm not walking through the store. I only buy what's on my list. I know the total before checkout, so there's no surprises at the register. I'm not over budget. If I am, I can remove items or rethink what I want to do. No wasted gas. I'm doing everything in one trip. I don't have to drive around looking for things, and fewer forgotten items. If something is out of stock, I know before leaving the house and I can adjust my plan. This switch to pickup orders has saved us so much money, cut down on unnecessary spending, and made grocery shopping less stressful, especially since I don't have to drag my kids through the store as much. Number 7 is shopping alone and avoiding impulse buys. For the longest time, grocery shopping with my kids is so stressful. It's just very stressful, rushed, and expensive. No matter how well I planned, I always forgot something or ended up with extra things in my cart. I do pickup orders, but one big change I've also made whenever possible is I grocery shop alone. Every Sunday, my husband does not work. So after I finish working on Sundays, I head to the grocery store by myself. My husband stays home with the kids. This one small change has saved us money and stress. I can take my time. I can check prices. I can compare different brands. I can read labels. I can make sure I'm getting the best deal. Shopping alone also allows me to stick to my list. When I bring the kids, there's always that one thing that they see that they ask for, or they're getting tired and impatient and I end up grabbing things just to kind of hurry up and get out of that store. Now I can also go to multiple stores if I need to get the lowest price on items without feeling rushed. This also gives me time to look for clearance deals and markdowns, especially on meat and dairy products. Or if I'm at a store like Walmart and Target, I can check their clearance items there for clothing. When I'm shopping with my kids, I don't have the time to focus or scan for these deals. But alone, I can check the end caps, the clearance racks, and look for deeply discounted items that I can stock up on or freeze later. And when I find a deeply discounted item or an item on sale that I use regularly, I try to buy 3, 1 for now and 2 for later, if it's in my budget. The difference this has made, our grocery bill has gone way down. I don't forget things anymore, and I'm able to stretch our budget further just by taking the time to make smarter purchases. So if you have the option to shop without your kids, even if it's just once a month, it is well worth it. Number 8, planning shopping trips around appointments to save gas and time. Gas is expensive. Gas averaged over $3.50 a gallon last year where I live. That's a lot of money. So the last thing I want to do is make multiple trips just to grab groceries or run errands. So I started planning all of our shopping and pickups around our existing appointments, therapy sessions, meetups, whatever. This simple shift has saved us time, money, and unnecessary stress. Before I started doing this, I found myself constantly making extra trips. One day to therapy, another to groceries, another for something we forgot, and another because we ran out of something unexpectedly. It was wasting gas. I felt like I was always running around. The kids hated it. Now, whenever we already have to leave the house, I'm making sure to maximize the trip by scheduling pickups or quick stops on the way home. Planning these errands around our schedule also makes shopping faster. Instead of my kids seeing a grocery trip as a long, boring chore, they now know we have a set amount of time. Either we're on our way to an appointment and need to get in and get out, or we're on our way home and we want to be done for the day, so we want to run in so we can get home. This keeps everyone focused and cooperative, and it makes shopping a lot less stressful. Another huge benefit, I don't need to hear constant complaints about leaving the house. So if we are going to have a day that we're home, we don't need to leave to go pick up something. And since we're already out for an appointment, we can just do those extra quick stops, and everyone is already mentally prepared to be outside the house. So adding a quick stop for groceries or a pickup order doesn't feel like such an extra chore. It just can fit into our routine. All right, number 9, cutting cable and streaming services. One of the easiest ways to free up extra money is by cutting out subscriptions you don't use regularly. It may not seem like a big deal at first, $6.99 here, $10.99 there, but these monthly charges add up fast, and before you know it, you're spending hundreds on things you barely use. Our rule is if you're not using a subscription at least 5 times a week, we're not keeping it. It's not worth paying for. We canceled cable completely, and the only thing we pay for right now is Disney Plus and Amazon Prime. We still have access to Netflix, Paramount Plus, and other streaming services for free through our cell phone provider and through the Walmart Plus. Before your next billing cycle, take a few minutes to go through your monthly subscriptions and ask yourself, do I use this enough to justify the cost? Am I using it almost every day? Or am I only using it in the winter? Do you only subscribe to something so you can watch a winter sport? Get rid of it in the spring. Is there a way to get this for free through a bundle or provider? And then ask yourself, can I live without it? Okay, maybe I use this every day, but do I like it? Can I get rid of it? Can I go without it? And can I put that money toward debt? So even if you cut 1 or 2 subscriptions, that's extra money that can go toward bills, groceries, or debt payoffs. And over time, those savings really add up. Number 10, not replacing broken items. With ADHD and autism in the house, emotions can run high with little kids. Meltdowns happen, and sometimes things get broken. whether it's toys, electronics, household items. But one thing we stopped doing is automatically replacing anything that's broken. At first, it felt a little harsh. When you are in an autistic meltdown, you don't really know what you're doing, and you're just angry and frustrated, and you're not meaning to break things. But the reality is, we simply can't afford to keep replacing things. If something is broken out of anger, frustration, and a meltdown, it's gone. There's no replacements and no second chances. I don't have the money. I can't do it. This rule has saved us a ton of money, and it's also taught our kids that actions have consequences. If they break something, no matter if they meant to or not, they have to live without it. Over time, this has actually helped them control their emotions better. All right, number 11, paying for Christmas in cash. So for the first time, we were able to pay for Christmas in cash. And let me tell you, it was the best feeling. In the past, we've always ended up putting Christmas gifts, decorations, holiday meals on a credit card, which meant we were paying it off January, February, March. But this year, we took a completely different approach, and it's made such a huge difference. Instead of waiting until December and panic buying everything at once, we started slowly buying gifts over about 2 months, spreading out purchases so nothing felt like a huge expense all at once, and we paid cash. Whenever we had extra money, we would then buy those gifts. By the time mid-December rolled around, we had just about everything purchased, and we just had to get a few last-minute pieces that the kids had started to ask for and really, really want. So this was especially helpful for bigger ticket items like toys, electronics, dollhouses, since I could wait for a sale and grab them at a discount. Another trick that helped us keep costs low was we got those really big gift bags from the Dollar Tree and budget-friendly wrapping supplies. Like the Dollar Tree also has wrapping paper with different characters on it for Christmas. And you can get really inexpensive bows there as well. So we got giant gift bags, and so it made everything look bigger. And so the kids, when they woke up in the morning, they still had that wow factor. We had their character theme paper, so all of their favorite characters, they each had their wrapping paper with their favorite characters. They had these giant gift bags, and the toys, we kind of spread them out, spaced them out in front of the tree. So it looked like there was way more than there actually was. And guess what? The kids were just as happy as any other year. They didn't notice that we spent less, and I think they actually had more fun because nobody was stressed out or overwhelmed. So if you want to avoid holiday debt, I highly recommend buy gifts over time instead of all at once. Use cash instead of credit cards if you can. Look for sales and clearance items. And if you have little kids, man, get those big bags and put those gifts inside, and it's just way more exciting. So these are some simple changes, but it made our holidays so much better. All right, cooking at home instead of takeout. Number 12, we're almost done, guys. We didn't completely eliminate convenience foods. We do still get some takeout, but we found ways to replace expensive takeout with cheaper at-home alternatives. With autism, food aversions and restrictions are very real challenges. We aren't working with an unlimited variety of foods. We can't just switch down to rice and beans, and trying new things is not always an option. So instead of focusing on making perfect, healthy meals, we focused on making affordable, realistic swaps that worked for our family. One of the biggest changes was swapping out our pizza from our local pizza shop for Jack's frozen pizza. You can find it at Walmart. You can find it in just about every grocery store. And it's actually a healthier frozen pizza. I was shocked. So instead of spending $30 to $60 from our local pizza shop, we now spend less than $4 for a pizza. So for like $12 for pizza for everybody versus $30 to $60 from the pizza shop. Our kids don't even notice the difference. They really like this pizza. It's not bad. It's not, I mean, the pizza shop's better, but it's not a bad frozen pizza. And it's a simple swap. And over time, it saved us hundreds of dollars. Another swap is we have easy freezer meals instead of fast food. So instead of grabbing McDonald's, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, we make chicken nuggets and fries at home. We can get organic chicken nuggets, organic French fries, and it's still quick, low effort meal that costs a fraction of the price of takeout. And with food restrictions, sometimes it's not about making the healthiest choice, but it's about finding a realistic alternative that meets our needs without breaking the budget. We've also started prepping easy meal options in advance. We cook extra portions of ground beef and pasta sauce to keep in the freezer. This allows us to easily make pasta or quesadillas really quickly. I also have French toast that I make with a healthy raisin bread. My son loves these toasted with peanut butter, so it gives him a healthier meal with protein from the egg and peanut butter for a quick dinner right out of the freezer. For families dealing with food aversions and restrictions, meal planning isn't about forcing new foods. It's about finding ways to cut costs while sticking to the foods that work. By making small changes like swapping fast food for quick at-home meals, we've been able to save money while still meeting our family's needs. No spend months. Every month, we try to do a no spend challenge, meaning we only spend money on absolute necessities, or we try to not spend any money at all. We try to push those necessities out. Now, we don't succeed at this. We don't usually succeed. We usually don't make the entire month without spending on extras. But even just starting with this goal every month helps us eliminate impulse purchases and be more mindful of our spending. For example, in January, we started out strong, determined to have a true no-spend month. But then things popped up. My windshield wipers needed to be replaced, and the kids needed a clothing item that I hadn't stocked up on. So we had to get those things. Then in March, we started out strong again, and then we had an unexpected $3,000 dentist bill that thankfully we were able to pay off mostly in cash due to our next step. But even though we technically broke our no spending challenge, we still saved money because we were intentional about what we spent. We've also made this a game with our kids. We challenged them to see if we could go an entire day without buying anything. This has helped them understand the value of money and got them involved in our budgeting in a fun way. So even if you can't do a no spend month, just trying to reduce unnecessary purchases makes you more aware of what you're actually spending money on. So try to do a no spend day, even if you can't do a full month, or a no spend weekend. Think of all the things you could do for free that wouldn't cost you anything. It's fun. And if you have kids, include them in the process. Have them try to think of things that you could do for fun, or ways that you could eat or do something entertaining without spending any extra money, like having a picnic in the park or something like that. The next one is getting a month ahead on bills. This is one of the biggest things that helped us get ahead. It's paying bills as soon as we had the money instead of waiting for the due date, and then trying to pay them as soon as they came out instead of when they're due. This allowed us to slowly build a 1-month buffer so we weren't living paycheck to paycheck anymore. At first, it's not easy. We were barely covering our expenses. We don't make enough to cover our expenses. My husband has to work overtime. It feels like we're never going to get ahead. But every time we had a little extra money, we would pay a bill early instead of spending it. So over time, this created a small cushion, and eventually we were able to pay all of our bills 1 month ahead of schedule. This also came in handy when we had that unexpected $3,000 dentist bill. Because we had already paid some of our bills early, we now had cash sitting there that was meant for future bills, but we were able to pull that to pay most of this dentist bill. So we were able to pay part of that in cash instead of putting it on a credit card. So we are now no longer 1 month ahead, but we are working to get back there. This method has reduced our stress and anxiety about money because we're not constantly scrambling to pay things at the last minute. And once we had a 1-month buffer, we were able to put every extra cent toward debt. So if you're struggling to get ahead, start by paying just one bill early, even if it's just a week ahead of schedule. It starts to build a buffer that will give you more breathing room. The last tip, number 15, This is the biggest reason why we paid off $16,000 in 4 months. We worked more. That's it. Number 15 is working more hours. It's the hardest but most effective step. Every single extra dollar that we earned went toward debt. My husband said yes to every overtime shift offered, no matter how exhausted he was. I was waking up at 2 a.m. every day to teach English as a second language internationally. I teach on a computer and I teach 7 days a week. It was brutal, but it was temporary and necessary. This has made a huge difference because before we weren't making enough money to cover our bills and food at the same time. That is scary, stressful. But by working our tails off, we have been able to pay off 3 smaller credit cards. We've eliminated these minimum payments, which means we can now finally pay all of our bills without relying on overtime. That's huge. All of our bills fit into what we take home every month without any overtime. But we're not yet in the clear. We still need some overtime to afford groceries. But the difference is night and day. If you're serious about getting out of debt, pick up as much overtime as possible or consider a second job. Almost every retail store, fast food place, delivery service, nightly cleaning service in my area is hiring. All of that extra money does add up. And if you have a degree and you don't mind waking up really early, teaching ESL online internationally is another option. There's a lot of ways out there to make some extra cash. If you're in debt, every job is a way to get you closer to being out of debt. That's how we paid off $16,000 in 4 months. Let me know in the comments what's your best money saving tip. And if this video helped you, please like and subscribe for more realistic debt-free strategies. Until next time, bye everyone.